What's going on, y'all? Welcome to Triple Z. I'm your host, Isaiah Henry. Cleveland Cavaliers dropped the ball on the road versus the Phoenix Suns. And what issues do the Memphis Grizzlies face with the postseason in the near future? Let's talk about it. The Suns win their third game in a row while Cavaliers lose four straight, 123 to 112. Kevin Durant, 42 points, 8 assists, 6 rebounds. While watching this game, I really appreciated that the broadcast didn't mention the word, at least to my hearing or knowledge, they didn't mention that word vintage while Kevin Durant was playing this game. Usually that word vintage is attached to a player who's no longer in their prime, probably the third option on the team, coming off the bench, or is the veteran in the locker room. So for example, if Russell Westbrook had a triple-double, it will be seen as a vintage Russell Westbrook game. If Chris Paul had 15 assists with 4 steals, that's a vintage Chris Paul game. If Ben Simmons had 15 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists, and wasn't scared to shoot the ball, that's a vintage Ben Simmons game. But for a player like Kevin Durant, he's playing some of the best basketball of his 16, 17-year career. He's 6th in points per game this season, and he's 8th all-time in points, one of the greatest scorers we will ever witness in today's game. So Kevin Durant is a player we don't take for granted. Cavs come into this game on a 3-game losing streak, so they're trying to get back in the winning column. But the Suns have won 2 games in a row. They've won against the Toronto Raptors and the Chicago Bulls. But the game against Cleveland, that's the start of a very tough schedule for the Phoenix Suns. After Cleveland, they have a game against the Milwaukee Bucks, the Boston Celtics, the Minnesota Timberwolves, the Houston Rockets, the Milwaukee Bucks again, the Boston Celtics, New York, Golden State, and the OKC Thunder. That's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 games going up against teams who are 500 and above. Like, that is, we're talking about the Phoenix Suns who aren't even 500 themselves. The Suns starting off with Cleveland coming into town, this win can be a momentum booster, and it can give you confidence before going on that tough schedule. Both teams are top 2 in 3-point percentage, Cavs being number 1 and the Phoenix Suns being number 2. The Suns got the edge over Cleveland by making more threes and shooting a higher percentage. Overall for the game, the Phoenix Suns shot 19 of 42 from behind the arc, 45%. Ryan Dunn, 2 of 5 from 3. Kevin Durant, 4 of 9 from 3. Colin Gillespie, 3 of 3 from behind the line. Royce O'Neal, 5 of 8, and Tyus Jones, 4 of 9. The Phoenix Suns overall for the game had 33 assists. The ball was moving. They're moving it side to side, and the ball movement helped generate a lot of the 3-point opportunities. Kevin Durant had 8 assists. 5 of them were to a shooter in the corner for an open 3. 3 of them went to Royce O'Neal. He had 1 to Ryan Dunn as well. Devin Booker had 10 assists. Didn't shoot great in this game, but he is somebody that can handle the ball and share the wealth. Had 10 assists. Found Tyus Jones a couple of times on the wing. There was a play where Tyus Jones was in the right corner, did a skip pass to Devin Booker on the left wing. Devin Booker immediately gives it up to Kevin Durant, who's one of the greatest shooters of all time, and KD knocks it down for 3. And in the final minute and 20 seconds of the game, Devin Booker had a bullet pass to also Iguodala for a 2-handed dunk over Darius Garland. And then on the final play that pretty much sealed the game, Iguodala gets the rebound, or gets it in the middle of the floor, kicks it out to Devin Booker, and Devin Booker does an easy touch pass to Tyus Jones in the corner for an open 3, and that pretty much puts the game away. So the offense was flowing for the Phoenix Suns, and when your 2 best players are able to find the open man, that helps the game a lot for themselves and for their teammates. I will say this though, the Suns got bailed out a lot of times, because the amount of, you can count it on your hands, the amount of times I saw that shot clock get into 5, 4, 3, and then Phoenix, had to throw up something at the rim, and it did work in their favor for the most part. But when you have 2 great scorers in Kevin Durant and Devin Booker, you should be getting into your action a little bit quicker. But like I said, Phoenix still got the win, so I guess that doesn't matter. I want to shed light onto the 2 rookies for the Phoenix Suns, Ryan Dunn and also Iguodala. They were in the starting lineup tonight. There was no Bradley Beal, Mason Plumlee, Grayson Allen, or Nick Richards. So you're going to go a little bit deeper into your bench, and both of the rookies got the start tonight. Ryan Dunn in 26 minutes, 10 points, 9 rebounds, shot 2 of 5 from 3, was a +7. He had a play where he catches it on the wing, takes a few dribbles and basically leaps off, and Jared Allen made a business decision to not get involved in that. So shout out to Ryan Dunn for a good game. And then also Iguodala played 44 minutes in this game. 44 minutes. Like I said, there was no Mason Plumlee or Nick Richards, and Bobo got a DNP, didn't play at all. So also Iguodala, that was his assignment tonight, to play that center position to the best of his capabilities, and he did a great job. 6 points, had a few floaters, had 13 rebounds, 5 of them being offensive rebounds. At the beginning of the game, he was able to get 2 tip-backs to start the Suns' possessions. He led all Suns players with a plus 15, and he had 4 assists as well. I was impressed with his decision-making. It seemed to me that he knew where everyone was, because when the Cavs like to throw out their zone defense, every here and there to throw you off a little bit. So Iguodala, to me at least, it seemed like he scanned the floor, knew where everyone was, and then once he got the ball in the middle of the floor, he wasn't even indecisive about his decision making. Like, he knew where to put the pass, whether it was in the corner, whether it was to Kevin Durant. He had a one possession where the Suns shot the ball. He gets an offensive rebound, but he tips it to Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant gets an easy mid-range shot. So I just wanted to shout out those 2 rookies for a great game. 44 minutes for a rookie is insane, right? Because like Bobo's not going to play, and Mason Plumlee and Nick Richards are out. So great game for Oso Iguodala. I just wanted to shed some light upon those 2 players. Devin Booker overall played a decent game, didn't shoot too well, 7 of 17 from the floor, but he did have 10 assists, 4 of them coming in the fourth quarter. He played every minute in the fourth quarter as well and scored 6 points. So, you knew Devin Booker was going to come through. And the Suns get a win over the best team in the NBA, the Cleveland Cavaliers. But they're still the 10th seed in the play-in, and for Phoenix, that's shameful. That is shameful. They have one of the most expensive payrolls in all of basketball, and majority of that payroll is between Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, and Bradley Beal. And all you can say for it is that you're the 10th seed in the Western Conference. Now, I'm somebody that has said Phoenix don't deserve to make the playoffs. I'd rather see the Portland Trailblazers as the 10th seed, but they only have a 12% chance of making the play-in, so I guess the Suns will get the final 10th seed. And I mentioned it earlier, this schedule that they're on is brutal. I won't be surprised if the Suns go 0-9 in that schedule. Seriously, because all those teams, they need a win. They want to, get up there in the standings and add an extra win to their win column. The Bucks, Celtics, Minnesota, Houston, Milwaukee, Boston, Knicks, Golden State, Thunder. Maybe the Thunder might rest SGA, but we've seen the Thunder rest their whole starting 5, hence why they have an investigation and still win a game. So I don't like the Suns' chances on this schedule that's coming up for them. But you get the win over Cleveland. That's momentum. That's confidence for your team. And hopefully that can, flow into their next couple of games. But let's talk about Cleveland for a little bit. If you're a Cavs fan watching this, I will say relax, take a deep breath in. You're fine. You just came off of winning a 15-game winning streak. And you lost 4 in a row, but the Cavaliers can afford to lose a couple of games in a row. Like, this just shows that they're not perfect, and there's a few things they need to dial in on. What I've noticed about the Cavs' losses on this 4-game losing streak, while the Cavs are a great team and they are more than capable of winning the championship, they check off so many boxes of what it means to win a championship and be a championship caliber team. They do have a weakness, and it's on the perimeter. Their defense on the perimeter is not great. Overall, they're a terrific defensive team, especially with Evan Mobley and Jared Allen behind them. But on the perimeter, they do have some weaknesses. Against the Magic, when you're going up against Paolo and Franz, 2 big wings who can be physical and utilize their size to their advantage to get to the free throw line, to back down players and be physical, that's a problem for the Cavaliers. Against the Clippers, Kawhi Leonard torched Evan Mobley. I knew it was going to be a very long day for Evan Mobley when he had to guard Kawhi Leonard. Couldn't do a damn thing with him. Could not do a damn thing with Kawhi Leonard. Against the Sacramento Kings, DeMar DeRozan scored 27 points, But in the final 2 minutes of that game, he was hunting for Evan Mobley. Isn't that crazy? He was searching for Evan Mobley in that pick and roll. Evan Mobley steps out on the perimeter. DeMar DeRozan blow bys him, gets an easy bucket at the rim. And then when it's 118, no, when it's 117, 116, Sacramento up one, DeMar DeRozan gets into his rhythm, has a pull-up mid-range over Evan Mobley, and that pretty much puts the game away. And then on the road against the Suns, you're telling me Jared Allen and Evan Mobley have to guard Kevin Durant, one of the greatest scorers of all time, 7 feet, can shoot over anybody, can get past anybody with his great handles. In the first couple of possessions for Kevin Durant, it was going to be a long day for Evan Mobley and Jared Allen. That's just how it is. That's just how it is when you have to guard Kevin Durant. It's not easy. Nobody can stop him. And I know the Cavs have two great defenders in Jared Allen and Evan Mobley. They don't stand a chance against Kevin Durant. Quick first step, blow by with the handles, pull up mid-range shot. Easy. His movement off the ball can worry you. Everything Kevin Durant does on the basketball court offensively, it's just a problem. So you knew it was going to be a long night for them when they had to guard somebody like Kevin Durant. And we saw an adjustment here for the Cavaliers. No Jared Allen in the fourth quarter or in the final 4 minutes of the fourth quarter. Kenny Atkinson decided to play DeAndre Hunter. And I guess that's the better decision, because if you have Jared Allen out there on the court and if you're the Cavaliers, you look to switch, I mean, you're running into the same problem, whether it's Evan Mobley or Jared Allen. So Kenny Atkinson looked to implement DeAndre Hunter into that final quarter. That didn't work either, because Kevin Durant can just shoot over him with no problem. So that's been the weakness I've been able to witness for the Cavaliers. Even when they go against the Boston Celtics, like Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are a problem as well. When they have to go up against great perimeter players, Kevin Durant, DeMar DeRozan, Kawhi Leonard, Paolo and Franz, and Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, they do struggle. Now, can they beat those teams? Yes, the Cavaliers are a great team, great offensive team. Evan Mobley has really emerged. Darius Garland is playing some of his best basketball. Donovan Mitchell is taking a step back with his scoring and his minutes, but we still know he's the best player. And when it's time to take over, Donovan Mitchell can do that. And Kenny Atkinson has been a great coach for them, so hopefully he can make the adjustment needed in order for the Cavaliers to make up for that lack of perimeter defense. Moving on, the Grizzlies are 0-3 to start their road trip, losing to the Clippers 128-107. Ja Morant misses his 27th game of the season, and the Grizzlies have managed well without Ja Morant. They're 15-27 when he doesn't play, but that doesn't mean they're better without Ja Morant. When postseason comes around, you want somebody to the caliber of Ja Morant on the court in the postseason. In the month of March, the Grizzlies are 20th in defense. In this game versus the Clippers on the road, not a single Clippers player shot less than 50%. Not a single Clippers player shot less than 50%. Norman Powell, 50%. Kawhi Leonard, 75%. Avisa Zubac, 57%. Chris Dunn, 50%. James Harden, 57%. Derek Jones, 50%. Nicholas Batum, 50%. Bojan Bogdanovic, 66%. And then Amir Coffey, 50%. So, defensively, I mean, yeah, the Clippers had it going offensively. And in that third quarter for the Grizzlies, it was terrible. They got outscored like 36-16. But defensively, the Grizzlies, they were late with their closeouts, not matching up in transition. And when Zach Edey or Jaren Jackson Jr. had to step out on the perimeter to guard a Kawhi Leonard or, a James Harden, they don't have the foot speed or reaction time quick enough to stay in front of those two players. They just don't. Memphis did have some defensive breakdowns. You had Jaren Jackson Jr. overhelping on a Kawhi Leonard drive and then leaves Avisa Zubac on the baseline for an easy floater. And then James Harden blows by Jaren Jackson Jr. That happened numerous amount of times in this game. But James Harden gets past Jaren Jackson Jr., forcing Santi Aldama to step up, and Zubac finishes the play with a lob. In their last 17 games, the Memphis Grizzlies are 7-10. And some of their losses have been to the Cavaliers twice. They lost to OKC. They had that 3 game stretch where they just lost on game-winning shots against the Knicks. OG Anunoby hits the game-winning three, basically. Antonio game, De'Aaron Fox hits a mid-range shot. And then against Atlanta, Desmond Bane commits a turnover. Shout out to Dyson Daniels. And then he kicks it out to Karis LeVert in the open court. He does a little Euro step, finishes with the right hand, and basically wins it at the buzzer. And then they're on this 5 game road trip. They give up 132 points to the Sacramento Kings in a loss. Against the Portland Trailblazers, they didn't even score 100 points. They scored 99. And then on the road against the Los Angeles Clippers, they lose 128 to 108, losing the season series versus the Clippers. Ja Morant, who's missed some time with either a shoulder or a hamstring injury, which is unfortunate because you want to see Ja Morant out there. He's only played 47 games. You want to see somebody like him play anywhere from 65 to 70 games, right? So he can be eligible for all NBA teams and awards. The Grizzlies, they will make the playoffs, but I have my doubts. I really do have my doubts because in any playoff series they play, they will be the underdogs. They will be the underdogs. I mean, if they go against the Houston Rockets, let's say Houston gets the 3rd seed and Memphis gets the 6th seed, I can see Memphis winning that series. I can. I generally can see Memphis winning that series. But if the Grizzlies go up against the Lakers, the Nuggets, OKC in the second round, I don't like, or the Clippers, the Timberwolves, Golden State, I don't like their chances at all for a few reasons. Those other teams will have the best player in the series. They will have the best player in the series. No disrespect to Ja Morant or Jaren Jackson Jr. They've been really great for Memphis. But those other teams will have the best player in that series. Also, those teams have more experience than the Grizzlies. Like Kawhi Leonard alone has more experience, more playoff experience than the Grizzlies. Same with James Harden. Same with the Minnesota Timberwolves, who just last season went to the Western Conference Finals. Jimmy Butler, Steph Curry, LeBron James, Luka Doncic, Nikola Jokic, SGA will be the best player in that series if they go up against the Memphis Grizzlies, and they have the better team. So that's just how the cookie crumbles. If you have the best player in this series and you have more playoff experience, you give yourself a great chance of winning that series. Also, not to mention, the Grizzlies have 2 rookies who's in the rotation, Jalen Wells and Zach Edey. Jalen Wells, overall, has had a terrific, fantastic rookie season. He will be a finalist to win the Rookie of the Year award. But going back to the month of January, so January, February, March, his numbers have gone down. Points, 3-point percentage, and field goal percentage. That's not going to cut it in a playoff series against the Denver Nuggets or the Los Angeles Lakers or the Clippers or the Minnesota Timberwolves. That's not going to cut it. And Brandon Clark will miss the remainder of the season. He got injured against the Portland Trailblazers, something with his leg. So meaning Zach Edey will have some more minutes. Zach Edey will have more minutes. I don't even know about that because there's been moments where Taylor Jenkins has taken Zach Edey off the court for strategic reasons. So now you're telling me with Brandon Clark out, you have to put Zach Edey out there. I don't know how that's going to play out for the Grizzlies. If they go up against the Warriors, that small ball lineup is going to pick him apart. Like maybe Memphis will have the advantage because Zach Edey's so big and he can get rebounds and maybe utilize his size, but he hasn't shown that really in his rookie season. If the Grizzlies go up against the Nuggets, Jokic is picking him apart. Houston can be a physical team. Maybe that can knock Zach Edey off of his game. And if they go up against any of the LA teams like the Lakers or Clippers, those 2 teams have some of the greatest basketball minds we've ever seen. In LeBron James, Luka Doncic, and James Harden. They're like supercomputers. Like they just see the game in a different lens. You're telling me those 3 players aren't going to hunt Zach Edey in that pick and roll and just attack him? LeBron James getting downhill, Luka Doncic, getting into his bag, step back threes, and James Harden just blowing by him and, drawing the fouls. Come on, man. Like, those three players can easily expose Zach Edey. So that's something formulating in my mind. Like, I'm just not confident in this team doing well in a playoff series. I'm just not. I don't like their chances against those other teams outside of Houston. If they go against Houston, they do have a chance, but if they go against the Clippers, Minnesota, OKC, I don't like their chances. I just don't. And to me, they look unstable as the regular season comes to an end, right? Desmond Bane and Jaren Jackson Jr. in that game against the Clippers, they were banged up a couple of times. That third quarter was atrocious. And you're not going to be better with Ja Morant off the court. Like, there's no report about him coming back soon. Maybe I haven't read it yet. But if postseason comes around and Ja Morant's not ready to go, whether it's a shoulder or a hamstring, your chances only gets lower if you're the Memphis Grizzlies. Just being honest. Just being honest. So that's my little 2 cents on the Grizzlies and their situation. Talk about the Clippers really quickly. On this channel, if you go scrolling and see a Clippers video, I was not too optimistic about the Clippers coming into the year with the Kawhi Leonard injury, and I wasn't sure about James Harden leading this team to the playoffs, especially in the Western Conference. I didn't like their offseason pickups of Chris Dunn from Utah, Kevin Porter Jr., and Nicholas Batum. I can admit I wasn't a fan of those pieces they picked up and how their situation was coming together. But they've shut me up real quick. The Clippers have been a really good team all season long, and that's giving credit to James Harden, who's been able to kind of tap back into that Houston James Harden, of old, and help the Clippers get some win. Chris Dunn has been one of the best perimeter defenders in all of basketball, and I'm shocked. I heard this in a broadcast. He won't be eligible for all defensive team because he doesn't play enough minutes. Like, what? If you watch Chris Dunn, you know that he's all defensive. Like, he is a great defender, and this is coming from a guy who thought he was a nobody, really. Like, I saw him in Utah a couple of years. I wasn't too impressed, but ever since he's been with the Clippers, he's been so impactful for them, especially defensively. Ivica Zubac is like a top 7 center in the NBA. He's been playing great. Derrick Jones Jr. has been great as well. So they've been put together pretty damn well, with James Harden being the system and Tyronn Lue coaching this ball club. And there was a few things mentioned in the broadcast that I want to mention here on the show. James Harden leads the NBA in three-point fouls with 50. Meaning, if James Harden's at the top of the key behind the three-point line, you better be disciplined to not put your hand in his cookie jar and foul him. What else? Ivica Zubac over the last 4 months has increased his scoring from 13 points to 15 points to 16 points, averaging 21 points in the month of March. Kawhi Leonard in his last 12 games is averaging 24 points. James Harden in the last 7 games is leading the NBA in three-pointers made, free throws, and assists. The Clippers are also 18-1 when James Harden attempts 10 or more free throws. And in the month of March, they're 3rd in defensive ranking. I'll be honest with you, because my mind can always change. The Clippers can match up with anybody in the West. Like, seriously, like they'll probably most likely finish with the 7th or 8th seed. They will not be an easy first-round matchup. I guarantee you that. Whether it's against OKC or the Nuggets or the Lakers, whoever gets the final positions in the top 3 of the standings in the Western Conference, they're not going to be an easy playoff series. Like, they can take you to 7 games or just win the series overall. Seriously, they can play small. They can play big with Ivica Zubac. They can go small with Ben Simmons at the 5. They do have a nice scoring punch with Kawhi Leonard, James Harden, and Norman Powell. They have three-point shooters and floor spacers like Boban Bogdanovic, Nicholas Batum, Amir Coffey, and they have size and length. Kawhi Leonard, Chris Dunn, Ben Simmons, Derrick Jones Jr., and then you have Ivica Zubac, patrolling the middle of the lane. So they have a put together team. I will admit I was wrong about them. I was harsh, right? I didn't even give them the chance to showcase what they can do without Kawhi Leonard, and they've been able to showcase that James Harden is a system, and their defense has put them in a position where they're not falling completely outside of the play-in. They sit comfortably at the 7th or 8th seed. Let me look at the standings real quick. Right now, they sit 8th, one game back of the 6th seed. So who knows? Maybe they can finish as a top 6 seed in the Western Conference. But I've been impressed with the Los Angeles Clippers. They've been through adversity with the Kawhi Leonard injury and not knowing when he's going to come back. But he's played 27 games. And I mentioned before, his last 12 games, he's averaging 24 points with great efficiency. This team, they don't have too many flaws. They really don't. Now, the only knock the Clippers had on them were they weren't a great offensive team. Like, everything was defense. Their identity was defense. But with Kawhi Leonard coming back and he's playing more minutes, 34, 36 minutes, he has his legs underneath him. We know he's a great scorer and he does it efficiently, right? Norman Powell taking that leap in his scoring as well. James Harden looking like Houston James Harden. He's getting to the free throw line 10 times. He's hitting step back threes. He's blown by defenders. He's doing all types of stuff. And then Bogdanovic, he's able to take on that ball handling responsibility. He still is a sniper from the 3-point line. You have Ben Simmons who can play the 5 but extend the offense of the Clippers with his playmaking and his decision making as well. So there's not a lot of holes with this Clippers team. I like their chances in any playoff series, to be very honest. I really do. And with Kawhi Leonard healthy, Norman Powell playing the way he is, he's coming back from injury, but overall for the season, Norman Powell has been great. Zubac playing like a top 7 center in the league. He just had a game of 28 points and 20 rebounds not too long ago on his birthday. The Clippers, they could be a dangerous team in the Western Conference. A dangerous team. They're going to, if they finish either 7th or 8th, they're going to make that first round matchup fun to watch. Very fun to watch. So I just wanted to shed some love onto the Los Angeles Clippers. Thank you for listening to Triple Z. Appreciate you all for watching. Please like, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment down below, and I'll see you guys next time. Zzz.